Hello folks, it's Brad. I'm in London. You can tell by the funky painting. I'm getting all my directions wrong behind me. That's obviously London, England, right? And I'm here for another couple of days. Tomorrow I'm doing an all-day meditation thing, which apparently there's still room for more sign-ups if you want to do that. And the other way you can tell I'm in London is because I bought the English version of Three's Company. Actually predates Three's Company. So Three's Company is the American version of Man About the House and has a much more sort of sleazy, ribald-looking cover, and the British edition of Inframan. This is one of the movie classics of all time. Maybe I should review it. So I wanted in this episode to talk about a couple of articles that people keep forwarding me. One is called Yoga and Meditation May Lead to an Inflated Ego, and it's from Mental Floss magazine. And this article kind of cites some studies that supposedly prove that people in yoga and meditation aren't reducing their egos, but actually inflating their egos. And I think this is interesting because when people hear that idea of transcending the ego, they get an image of what that should be. And what it usually winds up being is a kind of blank person who has no likes or dislikes, no discernible personality, and no feelings and no emotions, and they're just kind of... And if you go to a lot of meditation centers, like I do, you'll see people desperately trying to live up to this image of this no person, this nothing person, because they think that's what you're supposed to become. And I thought that's what I was supposed to become when I first started this stuff. And then I noticed my teachers, especially Tim and Nishijima Roshi, I mean, they're very, very strong personalities. So I imagine if the same people who did this study for Mental Floss magazine did the study with Tim or with Nishijima Roshi or with Kobun Chino or a lot of these people that are like famous meditators that we look up to and revere, they'd go, oh, those guys haven't transcended their egos because they're really strong personalities. And that's the thing. We're not trying to like get rid of our egos. We're trying to understand what they are, to understand that the true self is not identified with the ego self. That's one common way of putting it, and it's good enough, I think, for our purposes. But that doesn't necessarily mean destroying the ego or making it less or becoming a blank person. It means understanding what it is, and then it can be as strong as you like because you understand that it's not you and you're not identifying it with yourself and you're not always trying to protect it and expand it and everything else. You're just kind of living with it and you are who you are. The other article that I got is from Scientific American magazine, and it is called Could Multiple Personality Disorder Explain Life, the Universe, and Everything? And I found this one really interesting. I think you'd be better off to just read the article. I'll provide a link below and see what you think. They talk about the true nature of consciousness and how consciousness may be something that's intrinsic to all forms of matter and energy and so forth. And this is something that I have been saying for a while because I think that's I don't know if it's exactly the right way to look at it, but I think it's a better way to look at it than the idea that consciousness is my consciousness and your consciousness and each of us, and the girl who posed for that picture, this is consciousness, she has a consciousness, and we all have individual consciousnesses that arise with our individuality and are completely fused with that individuality. So without the individual, there is no consciousness, would be the way we normally think of it. And this goes way back. Even the Hindu idea of Atman seems to propose that individuality is fused with consciousness and carries on life after life after life. And I think the view that sort of makes sense considering some of the experiences I've had around this practice and some of the stuff that other people have reported, people like Dogen and classical people like that, and contemporary people as well have reported, give me the impression that this other idea, which Scientific American magazine's article is kind of proposing, that consciousness is everywhere, it makes more sense with the experience that I've had. And as I said, the readings that I've done in the subject from days gone by, people like that. So there's my two things I thought I would tell you. And I'm going to go out now to a comic shop called 30th Century Comics in Putney, which I love the names of places in London. Putney and was it Tooting? Those are great. So I'll see you next time. Probably next time I do this, I'll be in America, and maybe I can talk more about American politics. Yeah, you'd love that. If you want to donate to my ongoing lifestyle, Patreon and PayPal links are below. Thank you very much. That's the main way I make my living these days. I get paid for these appearances I make in Europe, but it basically kind of keeps up with expenses, maybe a little bit more to take home. It's your donations that really do it for me. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.